Now, let's talk a bit about the UAE as a jurisdiction. So the UAE's economic growth for GDP growth in 2025 is projected to be at 4% for the non-oil sector. The overall target of the UAE government for 2031 is to double the GDP to make it 3 trillion dirhams, just under $1 trillion. Now, where does that come from? So the reason this is relevant is because in order to achieve this, they are looking to do whatever is possible to attract investment coming in. Now, we've seen the Slido questions, and obviously the tax incentives are a key factor. But what also is important is the regulatory environment, the ease of doing business, the ease of setting up business, and the ease of moving to the UAE. In order to facilitate some of the growth that the UAE is projecting, they've entered into a number of comprehensive economic partnership agreements with countries across the world, which provides enhanced support when it comes to trade, reduced custom duty, and beneficial rates across the board. There's currently not a CEPA agreement with Nigeria, but the talks have been ongoing for one to be implemented. The UAE has had CEPA with a number of other countries, including Kenya, India, Vietnam, Australia, Jordan, and other countries. And therefore, the UAE can also be used as a hub for routing trade from those countries, taking advantage of the CEPA agreements that have been entered into by the UAE. Now, tax obviously is the elephant in the room. No one wants to pay tax. Everyone wants to be as tax efficient as possible. And the UAE does support that without being a pure offshore jurisdiction. It's an offshore jurisdiction in an onshore world. People are coming to the UAE to live there. You've got tax benefits where there is 0% personal income tax as things stand today. Corporate tax has been introduced, but it's at a low percentage of 9% on profits above $100,000. And there are a number of exemptions, especially if you're setting up holding structures in the UAE, which are holding investments across Africa, Nigeria, and elsewhere in the world. The other advantages are you have 100% ownership, foreign ownership of businesses are allowed across the country and in most sectors. There are some limited sectors where local partnership is required or where there are restrictions on ownership. But apart from that, it's 100% foreign ownership which is permitted. It's a very open visa regime where with certain investments in place or of certain education qualification and skilled professionals, you can look at getting a 10-year visa, residence visa for yourself and your family. And added to that, you have the advantages of also bringing in house help, staff, nannies for your children without any restrictions in place. From the other Slido question, obviously the crowd is interested in the real estate investments in UAE. There is a booming real estate market, and it is continuing to grow substantially. And this is also triggered by the UAE's target population growth, which they're looking at essentially having population targets of approximately 15 million people. Currently, it sits at 11 million people in the next 5 years. And from information that we've received from the government authorities, they're essentially issuing 1,000 new residence visas every day since the start of 2025. And if, for example, a Nigerian company wanted to set up their structure in the UAE, nothing stops them from relocating some of their C-level executives to move to Dubai, get their visas issued. The family settles in Dubai. You have high levels of education available, international institutions there, exceptional healthcare with the likes of King's College having hospitals there, Cleveland Clinic having hospitals there. And that is something that we've actually done for a number of our clients from the African continent, primarily East Africa, who have now set up their global headquarters in the UAE. And to add to that, obviously, is the connectivity which the Middle Eastern airlines provide from the Middle East to the African continent and the rest of the world. A staggering statistic which someone mentioned to me was that you have about 2/3 of the world's population a 9-hour flight from the UAE, right? It covers all of Africa, all of Europe, and most of Asia within a 9-hour flight. And that's how central the Middle East and the UAE is as a destination. I mentioned the ease of setting up. The Setting up a company in the UAE can be very simple. It can take between 2 weeks to 4 weeks, and you have a large variety of international service providers who are based in the UAE. We have the likes of IQEQ, Charles Russell Speechley as a law firm, ourselves, and a number of others who are there in the UAE, international service providers who are looking at setting up in the UAE to attract and service their clients. Just in recent times, given the introduction of the changes to the tax position in the UK, we've suddenly seen a major inflow of law firms from the UK, tax advisors from the UK, who are now looking at the UAE as a jurisdiction to set up because of the fact that their clients are moving from the UK to the Middle East as one of the destinations. Just to end, I think the UAE has served a masterclass to the world on resilience and reinvention. From being an economy which was heavily reliant on oil, they have come to a point where 90% of the UAE's economic growth is triggered by the non-oil economy, whether it's tourism, whether it's business, whether it's the financial services industry. And they've continued to develop and show their resilience and reinvention through the current challenges, whether it's the tariff wars that are taking place, the geopolitical issues around energy around the globe. They have shown that the UAE is a destination which has stood the test of time and will stay a neutral party where everyone is welcome and everyone can grow and thrive.